Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the RTO Show. I'm your host, Pete Chow. Let's talk rent-to-own with Jennifer and Jeremy. And I wanted to showcase these guys on there because I just want you guys to know that every time I talk to one of the guys from, let's say, Rack, let's say Buddies, let's say Aaron's, let's say Countryside Rentals, we're talking about large organizations. But today, we get to talk with a one-store owner and the GM. So, Jennifer, why don't you introduce yourself and talk to me a little bit about who you got with you?
Okay, my name is Jennifer Harrod. I'm the owner here, and I have my son, who's the general manager. We are family owned and operated, and have been in business since the late 70s.
So, what's the name of the store that you own?
Jamison Sales and Rental in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
In Shelbyville, Kentucky. And you told me at one point in time that you thought about expanding, but we're just not there yet. You're still solid with the one.
Yes, I have looked at several other counties, but yeah, we haven't done anything on that yet.
So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was the difference in how you think about things as far as one store versus many. And one of the things that we were talking about, Jennifer, when you had talked, was the product care, and how much, charge-offs or write-offs can hurt you as a individual location. And we were talking about a couple of different ways to make the product count more versus just taking a hit on it. We talked about some ordering. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys about is when you do your ordering, are you guys like part of Trib, not part of Trib? Because we kind of talked about that, but I wanted to mention it on the podcast. So you guys aren't part of Trib or Nationwide, or you are a part of Nationwide?
Currently, we're not a part of we're part of Trib, but we're not part of any type of buying group. We were part of Mega for a while, and then Nationwide, I believe. And so there's a few of them that we were a part of, but we just found that because of the type of quantity that we were getting, it was benefiting those companies more than it was us.
So when you say it that way, when you're talking about quantities, can you give me an idea of how much you guys work to bring in? Like when we're talking about, let's say seating, or we're talking about dining, or we're talking about electronics, what kind of orders are we placing when you do that? And how do you get those orders filled?
So we were set up with a couple different distribution companies and multiple different manufacturers. Most of our terms are net 30, and we do have some COD, but we usually use Nationwide distributions, and then also American Wholesale Furniture. And then when it comes to electronics, because everyone's so picky anymore, especially when it comes to TVs, we'll bring in one to show, but we'll usually order specifically what they're looking for. Computers have kind of died out. We'll sell some stereos, but we try to carry things that you're not going to see in typical stores. So we don't, carry any Ashley, but we used to go through, who was it? Capital Solutions. Capital Solutions, and they would do a factoring for us. But since COVID in 2019, when everything started to hit, us smaller stores were the first ones to get cut on any type of factoring or financing. And so we've been doing a lot of COD and net 30 terms, which makes it kind of tough. So we're limited to what amount of things that we can bring in, but we have a 8,000 square foot show floor that we do keep completely packed. So plenty of stuff to look at.
8,000 square feet isn't small.
No.
It's not.
We just don't have a lot of extras. What is on the floor is typically probably 95% of the inventory we have. There's not any in a warehouse waiting to come over.
So when you guys do these orders, they have like thousands of SKUs on these websites. Now, your website is probably tailored a little bit differently. Is it set up to really carry what you have and extra, or is it really like the core items that you have displayed on your website?
We really believe in, especially selling furniture, that brick and mortar is the only way to go. So we have a website that is, it's a really nice website, but it's a lot of informational stuff, more than being able to buy product on our website. You can log in and make a payment. You can do an online application through our website, go to our social stuff. But at the very beginning of our website, it states we are brick and mortar. So we want people to come through our doors and not do it e-commerce, because we have found that when people do order a sofa sight on scene without even sitting in it, what we've found is that most of the time they'll be back in our store anyway because they don't like it. So we usually tell them to come on in. So yeah, we don't do anything like that. And I know there is, I believe, things like through O'Rourke that can allow you to add these SKUs and things to the website, which is great. It's just something that we haven't had any, I guess, real luck with.
So have you guys tried simple buys like, I want this, and then go down to, let's say, Best Buy or a local electronics dealer and then get that for them? Is that something that's a part of what you do, or is that's completely out of the story?
Depending, no, normally don't go over to Best Buy. And we're always trying to find the best deal for the customer. So if we can get it through a distributor where we get a cheaper price, then that's what we're going to try to do.
That's usually the best way to go, truthfully, because then, you know, at retail price, you end up, the customer ends up paying a lot more for it. I know that sometimes, I know some rent-a-centers that do it, and I've known some other rent-to-own companies that will, you know, if it's a high-price item, but it's very much in demand, they might go over and make an exception for a customer who's been around for a while. You know, talking about customers, how large is your customer base in that location?
Active right now, we have, I think, around 300.
Okay.
The complete customer base is with inactive is around 2,500.
Okay. So that's from being around from what, 30 years?
Right. Long time.
Right. So how big is the town that you're in?
It's about population about 45,000.
Yeah. It's grown a lot in the last 20 years. We're in between two major cities. But we're still considered a rural community, even though it has grown quite a bit.
We're all about bourbon.
Right?
Yeah, all about bourbon in Shelby County.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm all about bourbon too. So the next time I'm out that way, I'm going to have to pay you guys a visit.
Yeah, come on.
You would fit right in.
We're right between Louisville and Lexington, and the state capital is about 20 minutes from here. So we are in a really good location. We're in a really good town. And even where our store's at, we're a standalone building in a High Point shopping center. We got Rural King and a big Kroger marketplace right up from us. And there's at least thousands of cars that seem to come through here every day, and that's no joke. So we got good traffic and a good location, and we're blessed to still be here.
Well, I'm going to agree with that, because COVID came through in the last few years and it kind of changed the way we do rent to own and put it on its ear. How big did COVID affect you guys as a single location? How big was COVID to you, and how did it affect the way you do things?
It affected us quite a bit. We were unable to get merchandise for, other than a piece or two here and there for months. And people, even though you couldn't get what they wanted, they still want what they want. And it was tough. We're still reaping the repercussions from that. Things have gotten better. We finally started just calling our distributors, and instead of ordering what we wanted, we would just call and say, what do you got? And order from there. And it may have not been, it could have, a lot of times you'd find the only thing left is the really high-end items.
Mike Tissett was saying something about that when I was talking to him about it. And he said that what he was seeing was after these few years that had gone by, the majority of the customers have stopped going middle road. They've gone to either entry level or they've gone to the high output, whatever is on the top notch, whatever top shelf. And he's noticed that the middle of the road just hasn't been there. Are you guys noticing the same thing?
And sometimes that's just what's available. I mean, like I said, things are a lot better now than they were in 2020, but we're still not pre-COVID. And sometimes things are just, that's all that, if you want merchandise, you take what they have.
How are you guys doing as far as tracking traditionally to the Novembers and the Black Fridays beforehand?
October and November so far this year have been well compared to the last three. So we're hoping to, for the first time in probably 4 years, end the year hopefully with a good fourth quarter.
I do want to mention real quick, if we go back to the COVID side, you're talking about that. At the very beginning of it, when you're talking about, depending on what type of whatever was available at the time through the distributor that had the stuff, we were either paying, everything of course went up, substantially. So that means even the really cheap items, the ones that we would normally not carry, had a much higher price tag on them.
Absolutely.
So then for a little while people were shopping, it looked like we were carrying really low end stuff at really high prices. So it was a little bit more difficult to get those things out at that time. And there was a few of them I even think we just ended up liquidating just to move it.
How did that affect you? I mean, did it cause a huge customer loss, or were you able to negotiate with those customers with other items or things that maybe have been pre-leased at that time that weren't new and say, hey, I at least have this one at this rate versus the new one at this rate? I mean, how did that affect you guys?
Well, we were low in numbers on some months that we just couldn't, they just didn't either we didn't have it or they didn't want what we had.
And the ones that did decide to take it, they just needed it and settled. So yeah, it was, because we're one of those companies, we're going to explain everything to the customer. So we explained that this is what's going on. Even when they had that huge foam shortage that had nothing to do with COVID, but it was that foam factory down in Texas that all the foams for the seat cushions froze up because it was all cold down there. That then not only were we dealing with COVID and the stuff being stuck out in the ocean, we were dealing with stuff here in America that were foam couldn't be shipped over to the manufacturers to get sofas. So it was one thing seemed like after another. But luckily, with rent to own, I think the only reason that we're still in business today during COVID, when there was that shutdown, was because we were rent to own. So we still had income coming in when traditional retail stores didn't have that.
Well, I mean, I will tell you that the residuals that come in from the accounts that you have is always super important, especially, I mean, we are the industry that creates relationships with our customers, and this is exactly why. And a lot of people say that rent to own is recession proof, and I wouldn't go as bold as saying recession proof, but what I will say is it is a time that we can shine a little brighter than some other industries that don't have what we have, the relationship building, the time that we spend in our communities. And so that while they have those accounts that they're still making payments on to get to ownership, that allows you to have the cash flow to keep going and those months of strife. And I mean, for a single store, I can only imagine how difficult it is, because I know that there was a time, and I agree with you, Jennifer, there was a time where we were kind of calling up and saying, okay, what came in today? What's available today? And they would literally start the conversation with, this just came in, this is what's available. And it was one of those, I'm not telling you this so that you can buy it. I'm telling you this because somebody's going to call within the next 15 minutes and this is all I got, and it might leave out. And it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but it was something that we had to take to make sure that we had something for our customers, something to fill the floor, and to really say, okay, I know that you want this, Miss Jones, but what I do have available is something at least as close to it as I can manage to get that's going to stay within your price range. The cause and effect of it is the need is high and the supply is very low. So the price is going to go up, and I want to give you something that I know you're going to hold value to, and not just look at it and go, yeah, you're overcharging me, I'm going to walk away. I mean, those are situations that I know were very, very important on your showroom. So you said you're 8,000 square feet, and this it's Jamison Rentals, right? So is that how it's listed on the outside?
It just says Jamison's on the outside.
So this is a family affair, and you were telling me your parents were the ones that started this?
Yes, my stepfather had he was a TV repairman back in this, probably started in the 60s. And when my mother and him married in the mid 70s, they added TV sales. We were actually the first company in Shelbyville that had a big screen TV back when it was a projector. It had a big box in the middle of the floor. And then when he passed away in 80, she started doing the rent own. She had, well, of course, the interest rates were really high. And we had one customer that he came in, he had filed bankruptcy, and he asked her, he needed a TV. And he said, if you'll let me make payments, I'll make you a customer for life. And he has. He is still a customer today. And that was our very first rental customer.
Wow. So he's been a customer for 30 years.
And that's kind of how it got started.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's in his probably early 80s now. He kept to his word, and that's how it all started.
You ever done one of those things where he walks in, the balloons come down from the rafters, and everybody just shouts his name?
Right, right. He doesn't get out much anymore. But yes, we did have a recognition one dinner for him and gave him an award.
I would have to say that's something much needed. I think I'd have to do one of those things like, in Cheers when he walked in and everybody said Norm, we would just walk in and everybody say his name and just kind of hand him a beer and like, look, you just do whatever you want to do. Right. However it is, you're kind of part of the family now anyways,
Yeah. Right. We've been fortunate. We've had long-standing customers that have paid over 120 contracts off.
Wow.
Well, there's been customers that have paid us an entire mortgage.
Yeah,
the whole time they've been here, $130,000, because of course our software will track all that, but over the life of their doing business with us, we have multiple customers that have just anything they've ever needed for themselves or their family or their kids, they always came to us and have literally paid us hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so their patronage is what makes it all the while for us.
It's not uncommon. Well, right now, we have multiple first and second generations that are customers at the same time. And occasionally we've even had 3 generations at the same time.
3 generations of customers at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So being that, the budget is limited, we have one store. I know attracting customers is always on the forefront of what we need to do, right? Marketing is always there. Now, I was talking to somebody who said, even if you're a small location and you have a low customer account, if you have the budget, it would be a great idea to get a CRM or a customer relations management software. Do you guys use a CRM on your website?
No, we don't. There's a lot of things that we could really, utilize, but we found that the best way for us to attract new customers is always, word of mouth. If someone we always recommend people getting on Google and our Facebook page, and on Facebook, we have 1,600 followers. We have
that's a good number.
Close to 50 reviews on there. And so we're always wanting people to get on there, make a review. I tell them all the time, even if you're upset with us, if you're happy with us, whatever the call is, please tell everyone. And then if you are upset with us, what do we do? What can we do to resolve it? So we never leave any comment go without us responding. And I know when I'm going anywhere new, if I'm shopping or going to a new restaurant, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get on Google and search it up, and then see what their stars are, how many reviews they had, and then go through a few of the reviews to see, the good and the bad, and to see what I'm, about to walk into. So as long as we've been doing that, we've had, we have a good traffic flow most of the time through the day of just people getting online and then looking us up and coming in because of those reasons.
Being that you're a one-store location, what are some of the tips that you would give, let's say for Facebook, that's worked for you, being that there's not a whole ton of stores out there, it's just you guys, and you guys get to put yourself out there. What's some tips that you would say work for a small single location?
Probably consistency more than anything.
Is that meaning like every Monday at 4 you put out a video, or is it just being on there all the time?
Just, well, maybe not, that rigid, but, at least, several times a month or whatever you decide, just, at least once a week.
Do you hold contests or referral contests or, things like that for your Facebook constituents?
No, we haven't, but we have talked about that.
And I know one of the things that some of the guys love to do is they love to go on live and then wait till they have a decent audience and then start pitching certain products.
Right.
Let's say the new sofa that comes in, right? And we kind of go on live and say, hey, look at this sofa. It has, this, this, and this. It has reclining. It has a steel frame. It has the microfiber, which is easy to clean. And it's something that you can get today available. Give us a call. Is that something you guys do as well?
No, don't do any kind of videos. We've done walkthroughs, videos, and so that way for anyone that's never been in, but they want to come in, we can kind of give them a quick view of what the store looks like from the inside. I haven't done any type of product reviews or videos like that as of yet. It is something that we've considered, but I don't know how many people would watch it. That's the kind of thing.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think anybody's going to watch it at first until you build that audience, but you got to do something first to build it, right? I think that you guys are in a prime driver's seat because you don't have to worry about other stores. You don't have to worry about what anybody else says. The owner. And, when you guys decide to put something out there, I mean, you might not get as many views up front. But like you said, I think through the consistency and being that one-off, being that unique version of whatever it is that's going on in rent to own, I think you have potential for a hit there. I really do. I mean, at first, I know it's going to seem like nobody's watching, but I guarantee you, I think product reveals is something that we don't do very well in rent to own. And I think, watching Jamison's do product reveals might be a great way to get your customers involved.
Yeah, we should have done that the other day. We did, so we had the dinner for our customers, was Saturday? And then on Friday, we had 6 Boston Butts on our, so we carry a line of smokers called Smoking Brothers, American made out of Missouri. And this thing was just pumping out some amazing food. So I will have to start doing some of those videos. The biggest thing that we haven't done is just because most of us just don't have time.
Right.
That's a lot. There's 6 of us here, and from the time we get here, even the time we get home, we're just constantly moving and doing everything Jamison's. Because but yes, we do. I definitely have to make some time for that.
I definitely understand where you're coming from right now with the way that things have been going. We have cut staff back to where it needs to be. Every once in a while, we'd have an extra, or we plan on having extra. Right now, if this is your revenues, this is what we have. This is what we can afford. So I definitely understand that. What I would say as an idea, just from me to you, is I would say if you know anybody who's young, who might not have a job yet. And when I say young, I mean, they could be 13, 14, 15. I don't know if it has to be extremely young, but somebody who's savvy with Facebook and Instagram or whatever, maybe that you can pay them a small salary, as in $20 a day. And they can just do some, video or recording of different items and different things that might showcase who you guys are and who Jamis is going to be in the future. This is who you are. This is who the account managers are. These are the salespeople. Come and see us. And really, they're not on the payroll in the sense that, you need them to go build something or deliver something or return something, but just somebody that can be on there on the showroom and kind of not mind editing their own work. Mm-hmm. Just a thought. I don't know if that'll work, but
I got 4 kids, so I can definitely put one of them to work.
And there you go. I mean, cheap labor. I also know, So I know that George Jaramillo of Great Rooms in Tampa had hired somebody who was young and was not savvy about rent to own. One thing that she did very well, though, was she understood social media. And so instead of kind of looking at it from, I don't know how much she can help the business if she doesn't know about it, he changed it to, I will pay you this, but then help me here. And so I believe she was part-time, but she helped a lot with the social media. And what it did was it grew about 50 customers. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like 50 customers in like 6 months because of the exposure of just having somebody post all the time. Like you said, Jennifer, having some consistency and posting new things. And it wasn't the same video all the time. Like, hey, say hi to Jeremy. Hey, say hi to Jennifer. It was like, this is what we're delivering today. This is a product reveal. This is Mother's Day. this is Father's Day. Hey guys, we're going into the weekend. This is, National Donut Day, and bust out with a box of donuts and everybody has a good time. And then, 2 seconds later, we cut it off and send it out to everybody while you guys go back to work. Just a thought. I'm not saying that,
Thank you. Definitely. We were making our own notes here too. So,
So when we're talking about a single location, how important is cash flow every single month to that location?
Well, it's very important. You don't have any, we don't have any other resources or, we are corporate, so there's nothing else to fall back on or any stores to pull from like merchandise or anything. So, it's very important.
And to keep that going, I guess the bigger question is, because rental is so important and it's in one location, is there anything else that happens to extend the cash flow? As in, do we do any cash deals, or do you have a same as cash time period?
We do offer same as cash too, as well.
How long is your same as cash for?
Either 3 months or 6 months.
So it goes either way.
yeah, if they're a really good customer, they've paid off a few same as cash counts. If it's over 2,000, we'll sometimes extend it up to 12 months. And we are what we call like an all payment store. So we are Jamison sales and rental. So they can come in here and buy it straight out. They can do same as cash. We do offer a financing option through Synchrony Bank. And then we'll do our own pretty much in-store financing.
That's exactly what I was getting at. So you do offer financing through a secondary to, if somebody comes in and they have the credit and they have the availability to get it right now, you do that type of financing where they can just come in, sign their name to something, and then a third party will pay you and they get the product.
Yeah, well, we're signed up right now through Synchrony, so they get like a home card, so a credit card for Jamison. But we have looked into other companies like Qualify or Acemia is another one, and what we found was like a third party, like a lease to own company or a no credit rent to own third party, that essentially the customer will pay that company a whole lot more than they would if they just went through us. But we've considered it some just because it takes a lot of the risk away from us. So our income or revenue is not as high when it comes to doing it that way, but again, it does take a lot of the risk away for the customers that do just make that one payment and run.
Agreed. So how often do you make these cash sales or these third-party sales?
I would say retail is about 25 to 30% of our business every yearly, and then third party. Honestly, we rarely do any type of third party. It's just an option that we offer.
I mean, 25, 30% is actually a decent amount. So you have a decent walk-in traffic that's just there to buy merchandise.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a pretty high. I mean, I wouldn't mind having 25, 30% come in because it's a lot easier when they're just coming in, you buy product, we deliver it, and it's that one-time transaction. Not that you don't want to create that relationship with the customer, but if they're not a rent-to-own customer, you can make a cash sale, it's done. The only thing I found out is if you have more cash sales, then you have to keep having more cash sales because your residual isn't there. So
right.
do you guys do a different type of tailoring when it comes to cash sales? Like, in other words, you have the Facebook set for rentals and they come in and do the rentals. Do you advertise your cash sales a little bit differently, or is it all in one shot?
Yeah, all in one shot.
Yeah, it's usually all in one. Yeah.
You got payment options through a rent to own plan. You have same as cash options, and then retail. And then it's usually up to the customer what they're going to choose. And then even the customers that come in and they have really good credit, for anyone that has that stigma of rent to own that is more on the uppity end, I guess. What I usually tell them is, if you get this Pulaski bedroom set or American Heartland set with a Tempur-Pedic mattress or one of our Bowls mattresses, depending on what it is on the floor, you can easily get up to $5,000 to $7,000, and you can put it on your own credit, or you can leave your credit open for other things and then just do payments through us. And then there's no interest, so there's not 29.99% APR. If you pay it, on time, you can always pay it off early for a discount. So when we approach it to where even for our good credit customers, these are the benefits of doing a rent to own and including free service, if anything was to happen during the term, and delivery and installation, which is usually an added cost for retail. All this comes with it. Plus you can buy it out or pay it out early at any time. And that usually gets that higher end customer to go ahead and look at doing a payment plan through us.
Well, I can definitely see the benefits of approaching it all in one time. So when you're doing your marketing and you're approaching it that way, where you're saying we're the one-stop shop, you can get it here for rental payments with no interest, or you can do a credit situation, or you can come in cash when we get a cash deal. When you're advertising, what's the best bang for your buck as far as a single store? Do you guys do EDMs and flyers and mailers, or is it more guerrilla marketing, as in go knock on doors and phone calls?
I think we've been doing more social media than anything, and flyers. We do a lot of mailing that we do ourselves, and some newspaper advertising.
The newspapers are just for the ones that still read it. That's usually the older generation. So we have been trying to focus a little bit more on when we do the newspaper. Maybe we should do an ad about some lift chairs that we have, or throw in. We'll even do a lot of, sometimes our lower end items, like we carry Candleberry candles that's made here in Frankfort, Kentucky. And by the way, if y'all never had a Candleberry candle, makes amazing candles. And then we carry some spices and things like that. So we'll put things like that in the ad to entice customers to come in, not just for all of our rent to own or our higher end products. Sometimes we try to come in for our, spend $2 or $20 on a candle instead of, $2,000 for a sofa set or something like that. So we usually change it up when it comes to the paper.
Now you got me having questions. The first one is, do you guys design your own flyering and your own marketing pieces, or does somebody do that for you?
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too.
So we have been using, I usually do a lot of the adding, the ads, designing of the flyers, and internally we'll do that. And then for the newspaper, they'll have their own graphic artist, but I wouldn't even call them that right now. They're doing a really bad job. So I'm thinking about doing it myself. But yeah, we are definitely one of those companies where we're all hands in pretty much with whatever we do.
Well, I can tell you right now, Adobe makes a good suite that you can build and make things. Just going to give you a heads up. But when you mention the candles, I will say, because you're a single store and you can do kind of whatever you like, what are some of the unique items that you carry that you haven't seen in a typical rent-to-own situation?
Well, we do taxes here, tax prep for individuals. Last year I did 374 returns.
And that's why you don't have any time.
Right.
That's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm catching up, and then it starts all over again.
And what are some of the other things? So you guys do taxes, and what are some of the products that you carry that are pretty unique to Jamison's?
Well, the Candleberry candles. I don't know that anyone. We have a lot of I guess smaller items that you can just come in and pick up.
We got
spices.
Yeah, Dizzy Pig spices. We have we carry, again, like I was saying earlier, Smoking Brothers smokers. So we carry a bunch of different scents and flavors of the wood pellets. So we got Smoking Brothers wood pellets and mine are mixing wood pellets, and about 8 different flavors. We carry air sprays or room sprays, car fresheners from Candleberry. We carry home air purifiers, pillows, toppers, mattress toppers. So the spices we get, they can come in and either get a sample for $3, or they can get an 8-ounce shaker for $15. And there's about 32 different flavors of that. So if someone came in, they're making a bud, or they got some burgers, or some want to make a stew, they can get a sample and see if they like it for only $2, and then or $3. And then if they like it, they come back and get the shaker. So we're trying to get things in here like the candles and the things to where, we're also T-Mobile authorized retailer. So, and we just became a Penske authorized retailer. But so when it comes to the thought of the low end quick grab items and doing the things with T-Mobile and Penske, it's literally just for that foot traffic. It's to get the people in here. There's a huge following for Candleberry. Hot maple toddy is the most popular candle. So we got people coming in here all the time just to pick up a candle, or they'll come in here and make a T-Mobile payment, or they'll come in and get some spices. But just because they didn't buy that big ticket item or make that contract today, they'll think of us when they need something, because they come in regularly anyway. They see what we get. They always get to see the changes that are on the floor. So that's kind of our thought process with that stuff.
You've definitely got me curious. What's the name of the candles again?
Candleberry candles.
They're in Frankfort, Kentucky, and they're nationwide.
They're huge. Yeah, they just expanded to a new factory in Frankfort. And
well, my wife's a big Yankee Candle fan, so every so often we have to go and buy a leg's worth of candle wax that just they're expensive. But the thought process of doing a T-Mobile in a store and a Penske truck, is the Penske truck is that like a rental thing, almost like a U-Haul?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly what it is.
Let me ask you a question. Why did you go with Penske and not U-Haul?
Well, like T-Mobile, they kind of approached us about if we were interested. And there's several U-Haul dealers already in Shelbyville, and there's not a Penske.
And all the Penske trucks are DOT certified, so we know the ones that we're putting out have already been inspected and are ready to go.
When you mentioned T-Mobile and you mentioned Penske and you mentioned Candleberry, I'm just thinking, wow, I mean, you guys could end up being the Walmart of RTO. That would be crazy.
Heck yeah. Yeah. That's what we're planning. Go big or go home. We're just waiting for that time to explode out into the market.
It's gotten so much harder to get just foot traffic in the door with so many people doing auto pay, or they call in their payment. So it's just foot traffic is a lot harder to get in your store than it was, 10 years ago.
I think it's harder than it was 5 years ago and even 4 years ago.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's just getting to that point. Well, and I really do think it's a good idea that you have, these different businesses that you can run under the same roof that can attract a couple of different people. Now, the workers that you have there, are they family as well, or are they hirees from outside?
We have one other family member, and the others are non-family. But they've been here a long time. They feel like family.
I definitely understand that. What's your longest standing employee?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Actually, Jeremy would be it. Yeah, you were before Julie.
Yeah.
So it was 2008.
Yeah, that's when I could legally work. Yeah. That's when I could actually be put on the payroll. Yeah.
So, Jerry, let me ask you a question, because not everybody follows in their parents' footsteps. What made you decide that this was a good direction for you to go as far as RTO and where you wanted to take your career, what you wanted to do as you matured into an adult?
Well, I didn't always know if that's really what I wanted to do, but I went to college for film production. So, I was really big into that, but I always worked at the store during the summers and, whenever they needed help. And we just grew up here, you're always here. And, every time they did a parade or big customer gathering, I don't know if you remember the H.H. Gregg twins from a long time ago.
I do.
Yeah. So I have a twin brother. He lives out he lives in Ohio now, but we were the H.H. Gregg twin lookalike kids, so we were always involved in the store. But when I went to college, and my grandfather, he got sick, and by that point I was already in college for maybe 2 or 3 years, and And the whole point of going to school is to find your career. And the longer I was away from the store, the more I just wanted to be back to help and to do it. So that's what I ended up doing as I came back home. And of course I was on the truck and doing the deliveries and services, and I am general manager now, but I am what I would consider the epitome of what a general manager is when it comes to everything that that's around the store. So I still do the deliveries, and I still do the services, and still do the assemblies and the receiving, and help with the POS system, and anything that I can do for the store. I'm always hands in. You know, I've learned to terminate Ethernet cables and run them throughout our whole store, and blood, sweat, and tears into this place, and I always will.
So Jeremy's the jack of all trades.
Yeah. It's, you know what? The older I get, the more I understand that ignorance is bliss.
I think that you guys have an open slate to do a lot of different things that rent-to-own companies don't. I love the fact that you're doing the T-Mobile. I love the fact that you're doing the Penske truck rental, because it gives people a reason to go in there, and it gives you a chance to pitch all the advantages that rent-to-own brings. It gives you an opportunity to talk to the cookers as far as the barbecues and as far as the grills, people who are just – because even now, T-Mobile has a vast amount of different kind of customers. I don't care if you're young or if you're old, everybody has a cell phone. So it's like you're catering to a lot of different demographics in one spot. And I think that gives you a prime opportunity to take it further. Is there anything else that you might be thinking about adding to the Jamison's lineup in the future?
Not really at the moment. We're going to start Penske either in December, late December, or at the latest January. So we'll get through how that goes first before we add anything else.
Yeah, we're always looking for new manufacturers and distributors of furniture. Like we just brought in Valencia home theater seats. Signed up as a dealer for them, and still got to get our first chair in. But as being again a small one company store, sometimes dealing with these manufacturers is tough as well, because they want you to carry X amount of quantity per year. And, so when everything happened with Lane and they shut down, we were in talks with another motion company to bring into the store. And one that we carried, basically they were saying, can you carry or can you commit to $50,000 a year in motion upholstery, which wouldn't be hard to do, to carry that much, but I don't want to commit to it. Right. And then they would say, well, now just go to a distributor if you want to find our stuff or get our stuff. And then if we find a distributor, maybe their territory isn't Kentucky. So we're definitely always in search for that one manufacturers and companies that are still willing to do business with smaller companies like us.
So now that we've kind of covered how important our customers are and the square footage that we're dealing with and the different ways that we can approach rent to own, what do you guys say is, as far as rent to own is concerned, sets Jamison's apart from a normal rent to own company?
I think we tend to carry a little bit more higher end than a lot of stores. And it definitely has to meet our standards to go back on our floor if it comes back. We've donated things or thrown away things that don't, just because it came back doesn't mean it's going to make it to the floor. But I think probably I would say some higher end items.
The items that you carry have a huge high resale value.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think also that the relationships that you build are not as normal as maybe an RTO, that they're are they a little bit more pronounced as far as the integration you have with your customers and how long they've been able to be with you and the community that you're in?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they come to expect, the ones that have been here anyway with us for a while, a certain quality. And especially during COVID, if we didn't have that, they were wanting us to find it. And, and during that time, especially, like I said, it's better now, but it was harder to do then.
Being that you guys are a single store, how wide is your delivery radius?
We typically say 35-mile radius. But if we get someone, we've gone as far. Well, we actually have customers that are, and they're still good customers, and they pay us all, all the time. But they're about 70 miles away. So
they actually moved there after they were customers.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have customers that may be close but then move away, and they don't want to go to another store. They don't want to have to deal with finding something in their area, or maybe they don't have something in their area, or
they can't find the quality in their area.
Yeah. So then as long as they were a good customer to us, then we'll still help and support that customer, with the understanding that if we're going this far, you still have to pay a delivery fee.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we go relatively far. We do 4 counties or 5 counties from where we're at. So
I'm going to tell you right now, 35 miles is a very large delivery radius. So I'm going to take it that a lot of it is not inner city. A lot of it is open highway.
Oh man, so you could go out 5 minutes each way here. You're in the country. So
it's a lot of rural, not much highway.
Yeah. And yeah, being that we are in a rural area, I see a lot of mailboxes that when I'm trying to find the house, it's really, really hard to find. So actually just this year, about 3 months ago, we brought in another company, which is actually Jennifer's husband. It's called a U.S. Post Company. And so we have 3 different models of very sturdy, strong, and really nice mailboxes that they can come in here and get as well. And if we see one that's dented up or dinged or we can't find it when we're going to their house, I always mention it. Hey, if you need a mailbox, you can come to our store. I know they're expensive, especially if you want to get a good one, but we do have a payment plan to where it includes the removal, installation, and a house plate. So that's another kind of odd, different item that we carry that I haven't seen really at any other rent-to-own store.
Now, when you guys do your Facebook marketing or your social marketing or whatever the case may be, do you mention all of these things that you guys do?
Yeah, I guess in post, you have to
we usually kind of pick a few things, and we don't mention everything. Usually we always mention our payment, your payment options and the different ways they can pay or retail. And usually we're kind of focusing on, specific things, maybe lift chairs this time, or our grills and spices, or just different things. It's not the whole, I think it's a little bit, that's a lot to put in one ad.
I am working on a catalog though. So the stuff that doesn't really change, to where we can put it out to any type of customer or mail it out. Things like, again, the things that really don't change.
Well, with the offerings you guys have, it's pretty soon it's going to turn into a catalog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I've been kind of working on. So I hope I have that out sometime at the beginning of 2024.
So in the final notes of the show, I just wanted to ask, when we have these large get-togethers like RTO World, we have trip conventions, do you guys take place in that? Will I see you guys at any of the shows?
We have been to some. We went, the last April we went to was Indiana.
Don't tell me I missed you at Indiana.
I'm trying to,
So
we went, the last April show we were at was in St. Louis.
Do you know that the new RTO World 2024 is going to be in my neck of the woods? It's not in Tampa, but it is going to be in Orlando, and I cannot wait.
We're hoping to.
Oh yeah, I got 4 kids. Yeah, we're
hoping to do that one. And actually, when I don't remember what year it was. It had to have been early 90s or so. They had it in Orlando again. And my mother and both Jeremy and his brother went to. They were probably 8 or 9 years old. Went to April when it was in Orlando. Yeah, and his brother actually was wheeling and dealing himself and bought some car beds from some.
The old car beds, I remember those. They made a big comeback, and then they went off, and then they came back again with force. Now they have like LEDs and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So if you guys make it out this way, make sure that you hit me up. I'd love to see you guys out there. Maybe we can do a refresher and a catch-up on a podcast. But I do appreciate you guys being on today. It's amazing to hear from our single store RTO brethren who have gone and out there and have done it for decades, who have been in the trenches doing this time and time and time again, kind of going through COVID, kind of going through the different ways that we do rent to own and surviving. And right now, Jamison's Rentals doing with Jennifer and Jeremy, T-Mobile cell service, Penske Truck Rentals, which I think is going to be huge for you guys, Candleberry Candles, offering seasoning, and now doing the U.S. Post Company for mailboxes. You guys are on you guys are on a roll. I think you guys ought to offer a lot of services for your customers and a good value for what you have. I can't believe that it's all under one roof. But if you guys have any questions and you guys want to talk to the guys at Jamison's, hit us up at Pete at the RTO Show podcast, or you can go onto the website and submit something at www.thertoshowpodcast.com. You can also go on there and buy some swag, ask some questions, and if you don't know anything else, make sure at least you subscribe to us online and you go to our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, and you can even find me on LinkedIn. I will say, guys, I appreciate you being here. It's been a great conversation, and as always, keep your collections low to get your sales high. Have a good one.